Good morning, this is Julio calling. Just making comment on the Grove Group app discussions that we've had. Now, first of all, Tim, what I see that what you're doing is loading up the code on iPhone 6. As discussed when you came into our office, we explained very clearly that the product and this was always the project brief, was to deliver a minimum viable product, which meant that the code was going to suit a certain clientele. Now, what you are doing is loading up on the wrong iPhone device. This is iPhone 6. We mentioned that it was outputted to iPhone 4, iPhone 5, and iPhone 5S. So let me adjust this right now. You can take the code that we've given you and use, simply go to your simulator, Xcode simulator, and open up an iPhone 5 and 5S. Now, a lot of the discussions that we've had has been from a user interface and graphical. So as mentioned, this is a collaborative project where your developers can pick up the code which has been submitted to you, and as of the last emails I've sent, you do have the latest code and work off what we have done. So for example, let's go to the higher screen, right? Let's go to fencing, perimeter fencing. This here loads from the web, which will explain the architecture of this app soon. Add to quotes, next. Admittedly, this can be improved, which is always the case where version 1 has a few things that can be fixed. Nevertheless, I thought that we would have worked together, which I do agree is disappointing that you have decided not to proceed, especially with some of the work we've done. Submit. Because this is using a simulator, it will not retrieve any information or pass on any information, which brings up this error message. So when you do this on your phone, it will work because of the email client as a part of the settings. It should be regulated and set up by the user. So now let's go one by one. So this is the brief that we have. The brief really doesn't talk about any architecture and some of the comments that you've made, which you said that is disappointing. But if you clearly read the document you have provided us, it's clearly from a user interface and graphical point of view, nothing structurally. I know there was a lot of discussions with some of your other team members, which we weren't paid to do, but basically was to research Business Catalyst and look at how it can retrieve data from your website or your Business Catalyst platform. This can be done, it's not an issue. All you need to do is just replace the JSON files in the source code of the let me just show you here. So you simply need to replace the JSON files with a current URL, which will be retrieved from your web server, the GroveGroupApp website. As we've already discussed, this is in a certain format, which is liquid, and it's just basically a simple HTML true, HTML JSON equals true value on the URL. This is something that one of your developers explained to us, and this is something that, as we originally discussed, this app was a container to be populated in the future with the data from the portal. Now, I do remember as well when you came into office, you mentioned that image, Julio, is too slow. It's taken too long to load. Now this is retrieving from that image you mentioned was taken too long to load. Imagine the whole app in this retrieved from online. Now, you mentioned another app, which is the Bendigo tourism app. Now, I did download that, and it does take some time in certain areas, which is brand new, which is retrieving data from online. And mind you, the data is optimized for web, which means that the files are very small. I understand that. We've done this a few times. We have some clients which, let me show you. So we have done this before, which means that it's an important thing that the document that you send to us or any other developer be very, very clear. Let me just show you this one. So Footy-Form Predictions is an app which retrieves data from online, and it has a CRUD which has it basically updates the data, which this is retrieved every 30 seconds. So it can be done, not part of your scope, so not too sure where we're going with that. So I think we're detouring from the original brief which was given to us and was delivered. So I'll ask you to refer to the brief you've sent me. Let me show you an example of what I mean in terms of a good brief, a good clear brief. You did mention as well that the storyboards is something that is and you're not able to update. I'm really not too sure what you mean by that, because this is a standard by Apple. Not too sure any other way you could do this. If there are, could have been mentioned in the document, especially with your experience. I mean, you haven't. This isn't the first time you've developed applications. So this is a database relationship diagram, which something like this could have given an idea of what you're trying to do. Another one is this. This is obviously for an app that we are working on. So as you could see, and this is a semi-technical app, so basically discussing all things user ID, which encompasses that database diagram that I just showed you before, and it goes on to explain screen by screen from a technical point of view, what does it do. Obviously the designs are created, but we also need to know what is happening from a user experience, infrastructure breakdown, such as no internet. What happens if there's no internet? This is obviously a different application, but nevertheless it has some similarities in the sense of your expectations and what has actually been delivered. So as of this, so contact, it's all there as well. Racing, obviously pulling data from online does take time. But I do ask you to have a look. I do disagree. It is disappointing on many fronts. The first of all is that I think you've clearly forgotten that this is a collaborative project meant to share ideas and resources through the source code, like grammar and stuff like that. That's simple stuff that no doubt your team can work on. But I mean, if you wanted us to work on this, I thought that we were supposed to collaborate and you were to update the app, small things like images and stuff like that from your end. But along the way, I guess communication has broken down. Okay, thank you very much.